He's like, I cut out all the banter of you and Chris. And I was like, I thought he was recording
Like
the
4 minutes
second
long? Hey everyone, welcome to Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kayla. And Chris actually just got back from a trip to Walt Disney World, which I'm very excited to hear all about. He was able to experience the holidays. He went to the new Jollywood Nights at Hollywood Studios. I honestly don't know what else he did because I'm going to find out when you do. But I'm really excited, Chris, to hear all about your trip.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Getting there in December is great. It's my favorite time to be there around the holidays. It is crowded though. We know that, right? People always ask, when is it least crowded? It's not really anymore.
It's not, never.
Maybe the Thursday after Labor Day, right? But not so much in the holidays too, because they have so many things happening. But really, it was great to be there. We flew down on Walt's birthday.
Oh,
That was
wow.
not intentional, but because it was Walt's birthday, there were several things that we'll talk about in a little bit that were new to some of the parks. So I'll give some feedback. So just real quick, just for reference points, it was my wife, my twin 12-year-olds, and then friends of ours who we travel with often, and their um, 10 or excuse me 11 and 9-year old. So lots of people moving about. But our first day we went to Magic Kingdom, and that was fun, pretty basic. We saw all the Christmas things. But the real question, Kayla, do you go to Magic Kingdom when there is or there is not a very Merry Christmas party?
I mean, yeah, it depends. I'm Here's the thing. I'm not a fan of Very Merry Christmas Party. I've been once and it was a very long time. It was 2010. It's been a while. Um,
More than a while.
yeah, more than a while. And I wasn't a fan of like I love going to Mickey's Not So Scary because you get all the candy. Like I'm not a cookies, and at the time it was only one type of cookie and one type of hot cocoa, and like that was it. So it was like watery hot cocoa and like sugar cookies at every stop, where now I think it's like different ones. But if your question is, do I go on the day of without going to the party? The answer is yes, because the crowds are lower on the days when there's a party.
Correct. And I'm realizing too, people aren't going to necessarily know what Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is. So it is a
Right.
hard ticketed event, right? Roughly running about $1.70 a person. You can
Yeah.
get in at 4 p.m. into Magic Kingdom, but then the Magic Kingdom for the day guest closes at 6 p.m. And then the party is officially from 7 p.m. till midnight. And as Kayla was just saying, so the draw for this, for why people just go to the not to the Very Merry and the Not So Scary, is really for the special events, the special character meet and greets, the special, the Christmas parade. It snows down Main Street. As Kayla mentioned, you get cookies and hot chocolate included for your $170. And the ride lines are lower, right? So if you're somebody who doesn't go to the parks often, hitting the rides during that time is awesome. The issue is you can't do all the things, right? It's a very
No.
short period of time. So you have to pick and choose. And there are some, as an adult, I don't need to see characters. My kids, the kids we were with are older. I'm not opposed to seeing characters.
I
Watching your
love seeing the
face.
characters. For those of you listening and not watching, I just gave Chris the most shocked look. I will say, Brian, my boyfriend, he does not like characters. He does not get the appeal. He thinks it's silly. Even he's a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm like, but we can go meet Darth Vader back when you could still meet Darth Vader. And he was like, I don't want to do that. Like, that does not sound like a good time to me. That's weird. Where I'm like, I've definitely stood in line at Mickey. So one of the highlights of the Very Merry Christmas Party is the Seven Dwarves. And I have definitely stood in line to meet the Seven Dwarves before. That line was very long. But I think it was worth it.
Admittedly, that was the one. It was actually what we just talked about. The one character meet and greet that we are happy that we did, right? So no other
Yeah.
time are you able to meet all seven dwarfs at once and get a picture with them. That's
Mm-hmm.
the draw for people, right? your little one may really love it, but at the same time, are they making it till midnight? Some
Probably.
people are like, yep, they're going to fall asleep in the stroller at 9, and I'm going to continue watching all and participating in all the things. But
Yeah.
so it was a non-party day on Wednesday, which meant it, as Kayla just said, it was crowded. Why do people not go there on the party day? Because as I just said, it closes at 6 p.m. If it closes at 6 p.m., that means there's no fireworks for the general day guests to see. So people don't love that, right? They're trying to get the biggest bang for their buck. So on the non-party days, Magic Kingdom is crazy. And on the party days, it's a little bit better. So it was a non-party day. It was crowded, right? We did probably 5 or 6 things. We did buy Genie that day, I think, for the multiple parks. So I wasn't sure. Well, Magic Kingdom and the multiple parks are the same price. It was $27 a day. We did get to ride Tron. We've ridden it before, but it was, it's one of the newer rides in Magic Kingdom, which
Did you ride it at night?
no, I've yet to do that. I've yet
'Cause
to.
that's the thing, right? That's the thing that
That
everybody
is the
wants is to
draw.
ride it at night.
And our friend, my friend Matt, who was with us, and he was like, "This ride's amazing during the day, but it's even more amazing at night, right? Because the lights and everything that you get to see, even though it's really just the beginning, like 8 seconds
Oh, because you're only
outside,
outside for that little
right?
bit.
Right. Otherwise, you're inside and it's dark anyway. So
I have not been on it. I know nothing. The
no,
last time that I was at Disney World was actually with you, Chris, and I got deathly ill and
yeah,
was stuck in my hotel room for multiple days.
yeah. It is a ride that you straddle, so I feel like you would be, really good at that. Um,
I do want to rewind really quick. So you said you purchased Genie. What he means is they purchased Genie Plus, which is
right.
essentially the new Fast Pass system. So if you've used Fast Passes or you've heard of Fast Passes, it's the not necessarily get to the front of the line, but it's the wait in a shorter line pass that you pay for.
You now pay to play, and then there's individual lightning lanes. So at least one attraction in one attraction in all parks in Magic Kingdom. There's two. You can pay additional money to get on, right? So we did, you know, we would take turns paying for a party of 8. We were dropping $250 before we even left $300 before we even left the hotel room in the morning. But
That hurts.
it does hurt. You know where we stayed though? I forgot to mention where we stayed. We stayed at Wilderness Lodge, which have you
Love
stayed
it.
there? Yeah. Yeah.
So I used to work at Wilderness Lodge in 2010 when I last went to a Christmas party.
That's
I actually worked at
then you got fired.
no, I got fired from Disneyland, not Disney World.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's
And
gonna have
it
to be
wasn't fired, it was kicked out of the college program. I still had this is going to be a whole other episode.
that has to be it'll put a lot of pieces together for people.
Yeah, yeah. But
Mhm.
no, I completed my 2010 program. I did
Oh,
3 Disney college programs. My first Disney World college program was at Roar and Fork at Wilderness Lodge. If you've never had the wilderness salad, you should. It is delicious. Have you ever had it?
I've never had it.
It's so good. It's like apples and cheddar cheese and this like vinaigrette. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. You get fruit out of my salad right now.
Wait, controversial question. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
You know what? I don't, but my family does, and they'll order Hawaiian pizza on Friday night, and then I get ragey, very ragey. Yeah.
Because you can't just, I don't like it either. You can't just pick the pineapple off because it still has the sweet taste.
It's still there. Get it out of my face.
That's awful.
But Wilderness Lodge is amazing. Every time, like, oh, you're close to the Magic Kingdom, you are not on the monorail though, right? So it's a boat ride to Magic Kingdom. But I love Christmas time there was amazing, right? The decorations were amazing. The music playing, they were selling gingerbread things in there. Really a great. I love the resort, right? It feels the hustle and bustle of Magic Kingdom, and then you go off. I mean, and I love the monorail resorts, but they're busy, right? They're very busy and they're loud. And Wilderness Lodge, it's off that hustle and bustle trail, and it's very, very quiet. So
It feels like you're in the middle of nowhere. Like it doesn't feel like you're at Disney
it
in
does.
terms of like you're saying the hustle and bustle, right? Like people aren't going out of their way to go to Wilderness Lodge, where people will go out of their way to go to like the Grand Floridian and see the gingerbread house.
Correct.
They're not doing that at Wilderness Lodge.
And then that night we did Jollywood Nights. So let's chat about that for a minute.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, it was interesting, right? So this year, so they have the Very Merry Christmas Party at Magic Kingdom. They've been doing that for years, as Kayla went, almost a decade and a half ago. They've been doing, they've got that now down. The Jollywood Nights was a brand new hard ticketed event in Hollywood Studios. It was also only from 8:30 to 12:30, so it's only 4 hours, where the Very Merry is 5. Price point was about the same for Very Merry and Jollywood. I think Jollywood might have been a little bit cheaper. You could get into Hollywood Studios starting at 7 p.m. with that ticket, and then Hollywood Studios closed at 8. So you did get an extra hour if you wanted it. I think we showed up around 6:30, and Hollywood Studios, because we had park hoppers, Hollywood Studios was pretty dead, right? Our kids went on a couple rides. We all went on. We think we walked. It was a 5-minute wait for Toy Story Mania, right? So
wow.
it was very low wait time. So that, that's what we were joking, like, oh my gosh, go before one of these. And then the party got started, and it was an unusual situation. As Kayla, are you familiar that it didn't get a lot of love? The first party was in mid-November, and
people were not happy.
They were not happy.
Yeah.
They weren't. Disney, I think, pivoted a lot of things with feedback from that beginning. Right? You and I are in the tourism and travel industry. We talk a lot about expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to go to, a shitty ass resort as long as you tell me it's shitty ass, right?
Yeah.
And it's $100 a night, and you might have bed bugs, and someone's going to spit in your drink. It's going to
your towels won't be clean.
No, fine, whatever. It was $100 a night. But if you don't tell me that, and I show up thinking it's going to be, the Ritz-Carlton, and I'm showing up at a Motel 6, like, I'm going to be pissed, right? So it's all about expectations. I'm not sure there was a lot of expectations communicated from the beginning. So I think that kind of threw people off. But at first I was like, what the hell is this? What is this? We did immediately start. So let me pause and take a step back and say, nothing is free when you're there, right? So they have a lot of specialty drinks and cocktails, even food options all throughout the park, but you do have to pay for all of them. And the ride lines were non-existent. There was no lines. I probably, and I'm not exaggerating, could have counted maybe 200 kids. Definitely an adult heavy experience.
I'm sold.
Yeah, well, of course you are, but also, like, for our kids, for our kids who can kind of run around and who can do their thing, like, and are familiar with the park, they loved it, right? They have pictures with cast members from the Tower of Terror, and so Caitlin and Gabriella, if you're listening, our kids loved you, so thank you, and they have pictures of you, and they wanted to go back to the Tower of Terror the next day, or the next time we were in Hollywood Studios, just so that they could see you again, because they were.
That is so great.
And actually, 2 days later, we were in Hollywood Studios for dinner at Roundup Rodeo, and the kids went on Tower of Terror by themselves, and we're like, why are they taking so long? And Gabriella was there, and she was like, come on, and she got them. They didn't have to wait in line, and they went on again. So the little Disney
That's the Disney magic right there.
That is the Disney magic. And the kids were in like awe, like they met the world, like Kim Kardashian, right?
Right.
This is amazing. But so we did do the Muppet Show, right? That was in the Beauty and the Beast theater, and the Theater of the Stars, I believe it's called, right? And that was good, right? It was a little bit strange because it had a vibe of an old time TV show that was live, and you were watching it as like the audience. So they played out the commercials, and it was a little bit strange, but Belle and Tiana came out and sang songs. You had Mickey and Minnie, and of course Kermit and Miss Piggy. So it was good. It was a good half hour, but we did get in line maybe like 35 minutes early. So, and that's the kind of the complaint. The other show we did not see, that was the Nightmare Before Christmas one in the Frozen theater.
I heard that was so good.
I know, and we did not see it, but that was part of the complaint, right? So there's two shows, both are a half hour. You wait a half hour in line, that kills 2 of your 4 hours,
Yeah.
right? So we sort of chose not to do that. We went around and tried all the drinks. They did have a special lounge in the Hollywood Brown Derby, which we could not get in. People were lined up for that at 6:30, and I asked the woman, I'm like, oh, well, when does the virtual wait list start? And she's like, well, these people are going to get in at 7:30. We'll start taking their, assigning them in onto the wait list. They'll get in, and by 8:30 it'll go onto the app. But it was sold out for the whole time. It also is just Hollywood Brown Derby. I thought it was like a cool lounge experience.
Yeah.
It was not. It was just entrance into the restaurant.
Oh.
The lounge that was very cool, which I hope they do more of, was in the back when you exit Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
That was very cool. That had a stage set up with a singer, and everything was like jazzy type, like old time Christmas music. And then they had a bar set up with specialty cocktails that were themed. So that was fun. That had a cool vibe, cool lighting. We got some drinks there, and then we moved over to Baseline. They had specialty food and drinks. Baseline,
Your favorite place.
my favorite place.
Chris is obsessed with Baseline.
I love Baseline. If I'm in Hollywood Studios, you can find me at Baseline drinking the cider, and then
with his computer working
Yeah.
away.
working away. Maybe eventually getting too loud and for the family park, but so and then we went over to we walked through, oh my gosh, Star Wars Land, Batu,
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge. Thank you. I'm not great at the names. And then I was like, oh, we're walking by Oga's Cantina. Let's see if we can get in. And they were like, there's no wait, just go in. So
That's
interesting fact there, probably not necessarily, this is not, I'll repeat, this is my disclaimer, this is not verified information, but we did end up sitting with somebody who works in the operations team for Walt Disney World, and he was there and had a very dynamic, interesting conversation with that person. He was there as a guest, not as a cast member.
Right.
And he shared they're thinking about doing a lot more of Jollywood Nights moving forward next year, like maybe over 30 of them, which would be kind of crazy. Yeah. So I'll sort of wrap up and say, and then it ended at 12:30, and at 12:30 started the Jingle Bell Jingle Jam fireworks laser show, or
cool.
projection show, which if you've years ago, that was there at Hollywood Studios as part of like the regular day. So it was fun to see that come back. And it was modified a little bit, but it's a long day. We didn't get home until 1:15, right? Because I think that went till like 12:45, and then we did call an Uber because my bougie ass doesn't get on a Disney bus. And
it would have been 3:00 by the time you got home.
Thank you.
On a bus.
Yes, and I would have probably, or somebody would have slapped me. I won't say I would have slapped somebody.
It would have gone to. So here's the other caveat about Wilderness Lodge. They share all their buses with Fort Wilderness.
Well, yes, sometimes, or Contemporary, which we would have probably dropped off first, and then it would have went to Contemporary. Yeah. But still, either way,
waiting
at 12:45, I just want to be home.
Wait, how much did that Uber cost for all?
We got two different ones.
Oh, okay.
But
I was like, how do you fit 8
my
people?
family we Ubered a lot, and I don't think we ever spent more than $17 going in one direction. A lot of times it was like 10 or 11 bucks.
That's not bad.
No. Now, for sanity purposes and everyone's safety, it is not that bad. So all in all, and actually there was 9 of us because our other Jollywood, our friend Connor came.
Oh, right.
So I think our full take on Jollywood was, it was the adult, as I'll use Connor's words, it was because I described Virgin Voyages as the adult spring break you never knew you needed. So he was using my words to describe Jollywood. It was the adult Christmas party, the adult Disney Christmas party you never knew you needed. At the end of the day, though, we spent money to get in, we spent money to drink. And so if you don't mind spending $300 to $400 and see a good show, maybe 2 good shows, drink some fun drinks, be in a cool atmosphere, is a $400 night terrible? It's not, right? You spend approximately $4 billion on one single concert ticket, right, Kayla? So I don't think it's well, not terrible, but it wasn't, it's not necessarily what people are expecting either, right? So that
Yeah.
that could be off-putting for some people. So
That's a really good way actually to frame it, like concert ticket wise, because yeah, you say $300 to $400. I
well,
spend that on a concert ticket, like with the cost of tickets now.
right. I think if you go out
Yeah.
for a dinner and a show or a drink, like you're spending that, right?
Yeah.
I think people just don't, you're already spending $1 billion to go to Disney. So people are like I'm annoyed. But the reality is your night out, that's how much it costs. Like,
Yeah.
right. Nothing's cheap. So, uh,
Yeah.
right. In that perspective, I don't think it was too terrible.
That's good.
So then we woke up the next day. We did have a slow start
Of
into
course.
Epcot the
Because
next.
everybody was hungover.
Yes, yes.
The adults, anyways.
The
The
adult.
children were hungover from Tower of Terror.
They were. I mean, I don't think I've ever slept 2 days on this trip. I slept till 8:15, and I am up at like 4:35 a.m. every day. So
Jeez.
usually regardless of what time I go to bed. So um, Epcot in all its glory is amazing at Christmas time. We have the Festival of the Holidays, right? The International Festival of the Holidays, and with the booths all around. My favorite was the L'Chaim booth with the black and white cookie and the oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. What's the sandwich that's there?
Is this sandwich? I don't know. I haven't been to Disney
I
World for the holidays
call
in
it a
years.
Reuben, but it's not a Reuben.
Is it a Cuban?
At the L'Chaim Jewish
I
booth.
don't know.
um, and it was all very good. But I'll highlight my favorite things. One, the Moana, the new Moana
Or
Journey
the
of
Journey
Water.
in Water.
Journey of Water. Yep, I had seen that before when I was there in October, but my family hadn't, and they were
Did the
super.
girls love it?
They did. I mean, it's definitely geared towards littler kids, right? But it's a very cool use of walk through space and to
Yeah.
give people an engaging thing that we didn't have to wait in line. We just walked through. And then the other piece, the big deal here, right, was the new statue behind uh,
Yeah.
the Epcot ball, Spaceship Earth, and many of the walls, not all of the walls, but many of the walls are down, specifically in the plaza area right behind the Spaceship Earth, which has lights now and very cool landscaping and pathways. Um,
Those walls at Epcot were the worst. They were like, there is nothing worse than summertime at a Disney park and other than black walls for a solid 10-minute walk through Epcot to get to anything.
it is,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. Now, should we be mildly inappropriate for a minute?
I
Uh,
would love that.
the new garden though that's there in that
Oh my
plaza,
gosh.
how did no one realize it looks like the female genitalia?
It looks like a vagina
It
without a doubt.
no, I mean, there's no way we're gonna have to drop a picture in our
Yeah.
this because there.
It's a repeat of Morocco. So
Yeah.
for those of you who didn't know, there used to be in Morocco it wasn't even a building, it was just like a piece of a wall that looked very phallic. And
Oh,
people
it didn't look, I mean, it was.
yeah. And it went viral because people wouldn't stop taking pictures with it. My friend Ron, who Chris knows, has a famous picture of him with it. I say famous. It's not, uh
Minimally infamous.
yeah, yeah. So it's very interesting to see that that's the decision that they made for this garden.
Somebody said that, like, I bet Disney has copy, editors. I'm like, but, and then I think it was Connor who's like, Disney has copy editors. I'm like, but yeah, but then they need like me as an editor. You're gonna need to
Yeah,
send everything to me to make sure there's no underlying disgusting, dirty, offensive,
yeah.
either in visual or in print. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
for sure.
I think that's valid.
But no, a very cool space, and and then the last, two last things about Epcot, the candlelight processional. Have you ever seen the candlelight processional during the
I
holiday?
have. I think that so I'm not a religious person. So candlelight processional is lost on me in that it is the biblical story of Christmas. Um, but I have been around to hear it. And I think that it was the same person that you saw, which was Neil Patrick Harris. Because hello, if Neil Patrick Harris is in the same space as you, you're gonna go make sure that you can see him,
Yeah.
obviously.
No,
Same
and
thing with John Stamos, who was like what, the night before, a couple nights
yeah,
before.
yep.
Yeah.
So right, so the Candlelight Processional is a little Disney history. It's been going on for many, many years, decades, and it
Forever.
started actually in Disneyland.
Yep.
Still continues there as well, right?
Yep. It's the first weekend of December, usually at Disneyland. And it's just literally on Main Street
Right, they
at the
don't
train
have a special
station.
show. So in Disney World, it's at Epcot. It's 3 nights, 3 times a night, and then a celebrity of some sort, usually for 2 or 3 nights, tells the story of Christmas, right? And it's definitely religious. It is the full biblical story. It's the story of Christmas with Jesus in
Yeah.
it, right? I
And
am
they have a whole choir, a
a
whole like
whole choir,
Christmas tree shaped choir that is made up of cast members.
and includes the Voices of Liberty as well, right? They
Yep.
sing behind the celebrity, so it's amazing. I mean, anytime you're singing Christmas with a choir or Christmas music with a choir, right? And then, but again, it is like
Christmas hymns.
Christmas. It is correct. It's the Christmas
Yeah.
music that is more church based. Although
Yeah.
at the end they sing that one song, like I forget what it's called, the Hallelujah.
If you say hallelujah,
I
that's
did.
biblical.
It is, yes, and everybody stands, but I'm like, I'm Catholic, barely,
Ish.
yeah, barely, like Catholic light. I don't know, some, and everybody stands like, what the hell's going on here? Why are people standing for this song? Is this, I mean, so in some, maybe somebody can let us know what religion people stand for that song that's at the end. I don't know if this is always there because I do see it often and I just maybe not remember it, but then they sing Let There Be Peace on Earth, which is always a great song. So that sort of wrapped it up. And so always fun. You know, we had a sour, moonshine sour from the Regal Eagle Bar there in America,
Mm,
watching did you know that's the #1 drink in all of Epcot?
I did not,
That
but
tells
I love the idea of drinking moonshine while listening to the
you know
biblical
what?
story of
Nothing,
Christmas.
nothing gets me closer to the Jesus.
That's fair. That's fair.
Uh,
I respect it.
you know, um, oh, that, so if that's offensive to anyone, I think we apologize.
I
Uh,
mean, get
anyway,
over
moving on. um, and then finally, you know, if you want to make out with me, then you just take me to Disney fireworks.
Oh, okay. Got it. I'm like, is there mistletoe? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
I mean, sure, why not? That could be
You
added.
just love,
So
you saw the new fireworks show.
you saw the brand new fireworks show, Luminous, A Symphony of Us. Also not getting a lot of love, but we also recognize that Disney super freaks, which
Yeah.
they struggle with change and they're very,
Yeah.
very, very critical. So if you're just
Especially with fireworks shows.
yeah, if you're the average person going, it's wonderful. I thought the music was great. I did love the music in Harmonious, right? Could playing, they didn't play as many Disney songs in this, I felt like.
Yeah.
And great messaging, right? And people are like, oh my God, and then it talks about how we die. I'm like, well, yeah, we do, right? Because it's the Symphony of Us. So it just talks about more about like the whole inclusive world coming together, and then the parts that aren't so great too, right, that we have to muddle and live through. So I really enjoyed it. I wish I saw it every night, so I had a better idea, but definitely get there, see it. Plus I love the fireworks in Epcot because you don't have to stand shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of freaking strangers like you do in Main Street. Now again, sucker for, you want to shoot fireworks over Cinderella's castle while projecting scenes of Frozen on there, you got me. But you want me to be in the middle of a billion people? Nope, nope.
This show doesn't have the giant barges, right? That was one of the things
It
they
doesn't
got
have
rid
the
of.
giant barges that Harmonious had. It does have water, lots of water and really cool fireworks that are lower to the ground, and water fountains, and some lights in the fountains, and then there's some projections in the water. But so there's definitely still
So
some
kind of like World of Color at California Adventure.
yeah, probably a little bit more like that, but not
Okay.
completely. But there's still things in the lake, but not
I got you.
nearly as offensive as those gigantic
Those
teardrop.
huge,
Yeah,
ugly barges.
yeah,
That's good.
terrible. And then the next day we went back to Magic Kingdom. It was a party day. It was fun. And then we had dinner at Roundup Rodeo, which Woody's Roundup Rodeo is it's not brand new, but it is a newer. I of our party was the only person who had been there before, and it's
Oh,
barbecue. I don't love barbecue. I think that's one of my favorite places to go in all of
It's
Disney.
probably not real barbecue then.
You shut your mouth. No, so it definitely, I don't love a lot of the restaurants in Hollywood studios either. So
That's
for
fair.
me, it is number one.
Wow.
It is
Over
served.
Brown Derby?
I do like Brown Derby, but Brown Derby is like, like
Brown Derby is very expensive and a very limited menu.
correct. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Brown Derby and not it, and if you're there with kids, it's not
I was
too.
gonna say it's not child friendly.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you can go, but it's a regular restaurant,
They're
right?
not gonna enjoy it nearly as much as they would
No.
enjoy that.
And
Yeah.
so Roundup Rodeo is not a character meal, but it has tons of theming. You're basically in Andy's toy box. So everything around you looks life size and like a toy on the wall. And then it is served family style. So you get cheddar biscuits with a
Yum.
pepper jelly,
Okay.
delicious.
Sounds
And then
delicious.
three salads to share, which were a regular green goddess salad,
Okay.
a watermelon mint salad, and
Nice.
um, like a tomato and onion balsamic salad.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
And then the meat or no, and then you do pick sides. So I think there's about 8 sides, and you get to pick 4 for the table. So we picked the coleslaw, the loaded spuds, the loaded tots,
That
uh,
sounds delicious.
the mac and cheese, which was incredible, which has crushed up goldfish on them.
Oh,
I know, so good.
interesting.
You need a little
Okay.
crunch. You always need a little crunch. And
Yeah.
then they did have fried pickles. We didn't order them. The fourth one, shit, I can't remember.
Don't they have cornbread?
Oh no, they don't have cornbread. They have but they have street corn, and that was our other
Oh,
with the Kojita cheese. I can never say that word, but
fajita.
uh-huh. And so good.
Oh,
So good. And then the meat comes out with the sides, and there it's in a huge skillet, which again you can order more of any of the things that you want, but it has brisket and chicken, sausage, and ribs in it, and it's so
they're
good.
pork ribs, right?
Yes, yeah. And then the sauces are on the table. They have a sweet, regular barbecue and a spicy
Yum.
that you can add. And then the desserts are toy size, as they call them, and they're just kind of more like little shot glass kind of
Mm.
desserts.
And they
And
have little like sporkies, right?
they do have sporkies that you can forky or sporky.
I think his name's Sporky because he's a spork.
I think it's forky, but he is spork.
Oh,
But either way, they have
that sounds right. I don't know.
uh, but they do have those cupcakes, and then they had blueberry lemon. I got blueberry lemon cheesecake. They had an apple pie. They had a peach and strawberry pie,
Yeah.
which sounds kind of weird, but was
Oh,
delicious.
it
Some other
sounds so
people
good.
got that. The apple pie as a chocolate silk, like mousse cake. Though those aren't to share; they are individual. You do pick your dessert.
Do
So
you only get one or can you have more than one?
I think they don't really say everything else,
Okay.
and then you can keep ordering.
You're stuffed by then, so you really
Yeah,
only
you
want
really
one.
don't want more than one.
Yeah.
And if you play it right at the table, you can get a couple. You know what I mean? Everybody orders
Try
something.
everything.
Try
Yeah.
everything. Try everything.
I do not know what that was, but okay.
That was an ode to Zootopia, but I don't want anyone to.
Oh, okay.
Uh, um,
If you can't tell, I'm not a Disney movie person. I like Disney theme
I
parks.
think I actually might have only had children to make it socially acceptable for me to watch the Disney movies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was it. That's the only reason. So then after, by that point, we were at the end of our trip. We were exhausted. We did go back. One thing that people don't really know is that you can see partial view of the fireworks from the lake area of Wilderness Lodge, and they do pump the music through. So
Oh,
we
cool.
did go down. If it's a non-party day this time of year, the fireworks are at 8 p.m., which is great. And then we watch them with the family. And now I did post that picture. My kids, my girls, they usually give me lots of attitude. They're preteens, but they did stand in snow with me during the fireworks. So a good reminder to take the trip. Just take the damn trip, do the
Just
things.
go.
Let's just go.
Just
Let's
go.
just go.
Yeah.
So that was my trip in a nutshell. Lots of new things to see, lots of really fun things. You should go, you should just go and see all the things, and experience them for yourself and share your opinions with us, because we'd love to hear.
Yeah. I haven't been to a Disney park during the holidays since like 2017, maybe. It's been a while. When Brian and I first started dating, I said, let's go to Disneyland for Christmas time. Not like for Christmas, but the beginning of December. And he hadn't been since he was a kid and had a blast, but we haven't been to Disney World during the holidays.
Disneyland is even, their decorations are even cooler than.
Yeah. Disneyland, you don't have to pay for, they don't have a party to like a Christmas party. So their parade you can see without a ticket to a separate event, which is
Right.
nice.
Right. And the only way to see that Christmas parade in Disney World without those tickets to the Very Merry Christmas is to go during Christmas week, which, let me be really clear, even if it was completely free, I would not be there that week. That is the only week. You will not find me nor Kayla there. No matter what.
There is one other time that you can see that, and it is when they are doing the taping of the Christmas parade.
True.
Which is usually in November.
Early November.
Yeah. And it will be a busy day at the parks, the days that is, because they give tickets to cast members to get them to come into the parks specifically to watch the taping.
So that it looks crowded and everybody sees all the things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But thank you for recapping your trip. It's making me want to go to Disney now, which I'm going to do next month to go run a half marathon at Disneyland.
You use the word run loosely. You know
what? That is true. I will be walking and slightly jogging and hoping to be under 16 minutes a mile.
Oh my God. I think you
Fingers crossed.
I think you can do it.
I hope so. Yeah. Well, thanks for recapping. As always, we appreciate everyone's support. Thank you so much for listening to the two of us and our ridiculous conversations. Subscribe, download, follow us on social media. We'll find a picture of the vagina Epcot garden. Put that on our social media. Yeah, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Thanks. Let's just go.